It's now 2014, and after 9 years of existence, the Mavuno movement of churches is now ready to settle into a home of its own. The journey has been exciting, but it's also been grueling. It included 2 stops in various suburbs of Nairobi's South Sea area, the South Sea Sports Club, and later, the Bellevue Cinema Grounds. It also included an incredible faith journey where the members of the church community committed to raise the astronomical figure of $3.5 million required to purchase and settle on a new piece of land on the outskirts of Nairobi City. And on March 2nd, 2014, after months of waiting on God, months of fundraising and generous giving, and months of planning and preparation, it finally happened. Mavuno Church held its first service on its global headquarters. But what was that early season like? Did everything go according to plan? Or did God surprise the Mavuno movement of churches?
The times at Hill City, it was tough. Starting off the early years of Hill City, ministry at that point were really difficult. And there was a lot of challenges, whether it was spiritual oppression, the spiritual attacks that all our staff members and our congregation were going through at the time, whether it was just settling the property. It was such a desolate and such an unoccupied place. The roads were non-existent. We had to do so much work just to make it habitable. It was a tough time. I don't think I'd ever gone through such a hard time in ministry. But you know what happened is, in retrospect, the Lord was using that time to really just strengthen us and to get us ready for what He wanted to do. In fact, I remember just reflecting back on the book of Acts. When the church was in Jerusalem, and it was such a cozy church, the apostles were there, everything was happening, and then God sent a persecution. And it was only in that time of persecution that they were able to go out and make disciples of all nations like they were supposed to. And that's exactly what happened to us. As things became difficult, we began to realize that, hey, God wanted us to go. And I can tell you, it was in that time that many of the Mavuno churches, the countries we're in, were started. It's hard to believe that by the time we moved to Hill City, only 5 Mavuno churches existed. Mavuno Hill City itself, downtown, and Mashariki, those are the ones that were in Kenya. And then Kampala, Mavuno Kampala, and Mavuno Berlin. Those were the 5 Mavuno churches at that time. It's hard to believe it, because in that time, then we began to plant all the other churches, whether it's Lusaka, whether it's Blantyre, whether it's Kigali, whether it's coming back to Kampala, where there's Entebbe and there's 360, whether you're talking about Kigali, I think I mentioned Kigali, you're talking about Addis, and you're talking about DRC, Kinshasa. It's like every one of these churches happened at that time. That's so exciting for me to realize that in the middle of the difficulty, God was birthing something new. In addition to all the countries I've talked about, churches were begun in different parts of Nairobi as well, and of Kenya as well. And I really give God glory, because none of this we couldn't even take credit for this. It was God definitely at work among us. And I think I want to say that for me, when I look back at our story, this occupying this place was actually a catalyst that God has used to grow the faith of many, many people at Mavuno today. And I believe our story is just beginning. God has so much that He wants to do yet through us as a congregation. And that's why, God's people, it's so amazing. We must be keen about freeing our future. I really believe that there's so many other nations we must be going to. There's so many other missionaries we must be sending out. There's so many other groups that we must be launching across the whole world. And that this is our time. And as we free the future, as we pay off the mortgage at the Hill City property, it's only going to give us the resources to go into places that we can't imagine. Can you believe it? In the next 10 years, we're going to be mentioning countries that none of us could even imagine right now that we'll have gone to, because we'll have freed that future. So I want to just encourage every single person in Mavuno, if you haven't yet played your part, listen, we're here because other people played their part. If you haven't yet plugged in and signed up to Free the Future, I want to just challenge you to do that with your family. Because you want to be one of those who will say, my goodness, in my time, I played my part, and look what the Lord has done.
More churches were birthed, and more people were impacted in the years since the Mavuno movement settled into its headquarters. The ministry grew from 4 churches meeting across 3 countries in 2014 to over 30 different Mavuno congregations meeting across 9 different countries by 2020. New churches of fearless influencers sprung up in Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, Ethiopia, Malawi, and Zambia. One of the very exciting church plants was set up in the Democratic Republic of Congo in the year 2017. With the exception of the German-speaking Mavuno Berlin and the English and Amharic-speaking church out in Addis Ababa, the DRC community was exciting because it began to open up the Mavuno movement to French-speaking parts of Africa. We packed our bags and headed out to meet their lead pastor, Pastor Freddy Sebuyange, just to hear what his thoughts about Hill City are.
Greetings, my name is Pastor Freddy Sebuyange and I lead Mavuno Church here in Kinshasa. In 2014, I was still a student in Kampala, and then I was involved in the ministry in Mavuno Kampala. And then the leadership of Mavuno Church Kampala asked us to join the internship in Nairobi, together with a group of, I think we're 5 or 4, if I remember. And we traveled to Nairobi. I remember landing to Hill City, oh my goodness, by bad luck. I don't know if it's just bad luck. On that day, the rain was just incredible. It had rained, so there is no way we could pass by Hill City because, I know right now there is a lot of development, but then, even the car moving there, it was just crazy. And then the following day, when we now reported to the office, oh my goodness, the dust was just amazing. I've never seen dust in my life like that. We're having a staff meeting, and then so dust decided to, the wind, it came in and it distracted us because by then the office was just the tent where there is the Swahili ministry happening right now. So, it was amazing. It was amazing. So in 2016, I came back home to Kinshasa. And then July 2nd, 2017, we launched officially the church here. So many things started happening. We started translating all our discipleship material into French, the vision into French. The journey was amazing. I remember by then I was single, and I'll just be happy, not even sleeping, doing, facilitating 5 music classes every week. I remember after 4 months, we had seen now people lives transformed and what God was doing. It was just amazing. And so 2017, the same year, I went back to Nairobi. Oh my goodness, it was just amazing to see the transformation, the change, the trees that we had planted. So it was amazing. And so guys, we are really talking about Free the Future. It's divine. For me, it's really divine. We have to do this. There is no other way. We have to do it. And we are talking about our HQ, our headquarters. So we must free the future. It's a must for us because if we don't do it, when will we, buy something here in Kinshasa? And that's what we are talking about. And for us, we are really super excited about it because, once we free the future, we are able to now move on to other things, other projects. Should it be here in Kinshasa? Should it be in Brazzaville, which is next year? So, guys, let's free our future. I encourage all of us to fulfill our pledges, which will be a blessing to us. And some of us, I know we are already receiving those blessings. So, God bless you. Bye-bye.